Ibrahim. Please give her a round of applause. Please. So what inspired you to write this book?
Thank you for coming. I'll everyone here. What inspired my book was the fact that I wanted people to get to know the real me and not just what they see on social media. So I've always wanted to do a movie about my life, but it kept taking forever because I felt like I had to do it right, and it never really seemed like I had enough funds to do it. I felt like I still needed more funding, you know, to do the perfect movie I wanted to. So after I had an accident that happened about somewhere, probably like 4 years ago, and I nearly lost my life, it just hit me that I've been dragging this thing for a very long time. Like, if something bad had happened to me, I would have just carried my story with me, basically. So I started, I had already started writing screenplays about my life. So I spoke with my sister, who's a writer, Sonia, and I was like, you know what, how do I go about writing a book? She's like, just write. If it's a screenplay or like you're just getting something off your chest, just write it. When you're done, we can put it into a book for you. And I just started doing it, and that's how it happened. And I decided to do a memoir. So it's just basically stories about me from when I was a kid to where and how far. And I've decided to also address certain issues that I never spoke about before in the book, so that my truth is spoken. So it's just basically me trying to get the real Juliet.
Okay, amazing. So I also read that you grew up in 3 different countries. How? 4.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and what's the 4th one?
It'll be Nigeria.
Nigeria, of course. Of course. So how was life like growing up?
Growing up was always more of me moving from one place to another. It wasn't very comfortable from childhood because I experienced civil wars. So we're forced to move from one place to another. There was the war in Liberia, Lebanon, and Ivory Coast. Then living in Ghana, when we finally moved back to Ghana, was the best one because it's been extremely peaceful, and the best part of my childhood was moving from those countries because of civil wars, having to lose everything with the family, losing loved ones along the line because of war, experiencing near-death experiences as well. So growing up was filled with so many emotions and a lot of life-making decisions as well, because I was the firstborn and I grew up quite fast because of my experiences. So every decision I made when I was a kid basically led me to where I am today, because I could have chosen other decisions and gone astray and all of that, being a refugee living in those countries, but I didn't choose to let the fact that I was living as a refugee or going to refugee schools and stuff make me feel down or like that's the end of the world. I used the opportunity that I had, especially when I was living in Ivory Coast, to learn French language. I read and write and speak French till date. I just try to use it positively to be who I wanted to be in the future. I grew up wanting to be a superstar. I wanted to be on TV at all costs or like on stage doing something. I didn't know what it would be, but I knew that when I was watching the Bollywood movies with my parents, I saw myself doing whatever it was that Bollywood people were doing. So I used to dress up in my mom's clothes and be singing Sonita, Sonita, and all the songs. But that was just me. I wanted to be popular. I wanted to be a superstar. So my parents encouraged me a lot. I know there's something that most parents don't these days because of, you know, the fear of entertainment world. They'll be like, you know, it still happens. Even when he wants to be a photographer, he wants to be a blogger, what is that? But people are being made out of those works of life. So at least things have evolved now. But back then, it was weird. Like, my parents were still supportive of me. And some people will be like, okay, let her just be going to school and find something else that she will do, you know. But she can do that on the side. So I joined the choir. I was singing from there because I wanted to be a musician when I grew up. I wanted to be a supermodel when I grew up. Acting, I didn't see myself doing because I was very shy. I didn't see myself being an actor. Then, right after I won a beauty pageant in 2004, I was on stage and they crowned me. Someone came up to me and he's like, we have an audition for a movie role that I think will suit you. So I would like to invite you. And I was like, okay. So I went for the audition. 2 days after, I got a lead role in my first movie called Crime to Christ. And that was how my journey in movies started. So modeling was something I just used to do to pass time and make money to feed myself and, you know, pay for school fees and things like that when I started. It wasn't really what I wanted to do because I really wanted to be a musician, to be on stage. But the modeling I managed, but doing modeling led me to acting at the end of the day, yeah. Most young girls or guys that want to become famous probably just want to be famous because they feel like celebrities are making it. There's money in there, so yeah, that's where I need to go, you know, and they don't really study the showbiz part of things because you can be famous overnight, but what do you do after? Most people don't think about what happens afterwards. That's why you see them getting carried away. And those kind of fame will just die down after like a month or two, and you'll be asking, but where is that person? You know, those kind of ones, yeah. If someone told me that time that being famous is going to mean lack of privacy and lack of everything that an ordinary person has, I probably would have gone for my lawyer when I wanted to do that time. You know, so it's not easy being famous. It's not easy. You have to keep up appearances a lot. And even though I'm somebody who tries not to do all of that, I'm a very simple person. I still do what I have to do. I live my life not succumbing to the pressures of the whole fame world. But there are people out there who follow the trend and I have to. For me, I just live like a normal person because I just don't want to bow for the pressure that comes with being famous. I can't deal with that. I can't deal with the fakeness, with the fake life and all the paparazzis. We're a bit lucky back home. We don't have cameras chasing us everywhere we go, you know. So the privacy thing, we still have a little bit of privacy there. You know, you get to tell or put out in the public what you want to put out. Unlike Hollywood, they really don't have privacy. When they're out in the restaurant, somebody will definitely see them and send it out, you know. For us, it's a bit okay, but you can still be a normal human being at the same time. If you choose to be, you can still be, yeah. It's just that it's tough, you know, like having the kids, the family members, they will automatically still come out in the spotlight because you are in the spotlight. So those things cannot be easily controlled.